Man, you know what time it is. We're back. Me and Tom. Faithful review. All right. We are here. We are here. Welcome back. It's your boy, the coach, and we are back on the Coach's Huddle where the field meets family. And don't look now, but the boys are back in town. I got my main man, my guy, Tom Jensen, with me. And you know what? We ain't going to do no big rollout. We ain't tweeting about this.
That's not us.
The coach is coming back. Man.
Just go.
We back in the cut like antiseptic, baby. We in here. My man, Tom. What's good, Tom? How you doing?
I'm doing great, Coach. Great to have you back. You were missed, man.
Hey, look, feels good to be missed. Handling business while business is handling me, boss. Going through work. But before we get into it, I'm just happy that football is back. Tom,
Amen.
doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good?
It's just all right with the world, feet planted in the ground, football's back, ready to go.
I'm telling you, man, it feels really good, man. Look, we got a new little segment also on the show, 4th and Miles, you know?
I love that.
Hey, Tom, you know you my guy. You my biggest cheerleader, Tom. I love you, Tom.
Hey,
Tom, my guy. You know, hey, and I will wear my seatbelt. Episode 1 of 4th and Miles. I was flying by the seat of my pants. I was so excited to get to you guys. Coach didn't have on his seatbelt. All right.
Click it or fly.
Ticket. Click it or ticket. All right.
Yeah.
Episode 2, I was back strapped up, man. Too much sauce. I got you, dog. I put on the seatbelt. You will never see another segment of 4th and Miles without Coach in a seatbelt. So let's get straight to it. We got a lot of topics to get to, Tom. And you know, a lot of this stuff is free flowing. Usually we kind of stick to the script and we go through all of our little points, especially with our pre-production shows. But to be honest with you, we didn't do a lot of prep for this show. We kind of spoke like maybe 5-8 minutes, man. It's like, hey, man, let's just get to it. So, look, 49ers faced the Denver Broncos this past weekend in a drubbing 30-9 at home opening day for us to just finally see the team. Now, the biggest thing about it is that the score doesn't matter, right? As far as wins and loss, it doesn't matter. However, how the game played out, there was a lot of things that were highlighted in this game. I want you to give me your top 3 takeaways from the Niners' 30-9 loss to the Denver Broncos in Week 1 preseason. 30 unanswered. Tom, go.
Yeah. 30 unanswered is the problem, is that it shows the lack of depth. That when you were going up without your best players, what do you got? And that was something I was taught by an assistant coach way back in the day, is that's what you pay attention to, is how does your first team match up head to head? How does your second team? How's your third team? And that gives you an idea of what kind of roster you got. So my first takeaway is the good, which is having Saleh back makes a tangible difference. You see it in this team right away. Smart blitzes, teams well coached, players are well positioned. There's a confidence that you sense about them and the way that they're going about their business. Even though it's a lot of rookies on the field, they're playing smart defensive ball. So that's my first takeaway that's encouraging, is that we knew Saleh would make a difference. Now we just saw what that difference looks like, and it's important.
I love that. Just as an aside or as a piggyback, is that was one of my takeaways as well. Immediately you saw how the defense responded. You saw all 11 guys flying around the football. What you saw mistakes, but what you did see was process. You saw that
Yeah.
everybody was playing a certain way. I mean, immediately, one of the things that I loved about the defense is I think the word that we're looking for is identity. We
Yeah.
saw an identity right away. This is a defense that is not going to be dictated to. They're going to crowd the line of scrimmage. They're going to be exotic. The defensive linemen are going to play games. They're going to twist. They're going to stunt. They're going to blitz corners. They're going to come after you at different directions. They're not going to sit back. And they are going to be the hammer and not the nail. You're almost to the point where the defense is so busy playing football that you really don't have time to figure out who's a weakness. Where do you attack them? Because they don't stay still. What do you think about that, Tom?
I think that's dead on. That it's not just an identity, it's a vision of how to play, how to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to dominate you here in order to take away you trying to exploit our weaknesses. And that's part of what the early season especially is going to be about, is that with the weaknesses they have in the secondary, they need to create havoc up front. And I think Saleh has shown that he already recognizes that's the case. So how do I cover for the weaknesses? With strengths, with aggression, with smart blitzing, and going after people. And I think that's what this defense is going to have to do. When you've got this many rookies, you need to have a strong vision, an identity that everybody buys into. And we saw that in the Denver game.
Definitely. A couple of guys that stood out to me, particularly on defense, if we just want to stick to it. Chase Lucas, obviously, player of the game, if you really want to talk about it. Inside and outside. I don't know if he actually plays boundary corner and really is going to as a mainstay at that outside position, but definitely at nickel, at dime, at slot, being a willing tackler in the box, somebody that's sticky in coverage, has a lot of range for his size, plays outside of his frame, adequate speed, uses it well, knows how to throttle down and when to turn it on. One thing that I love about Chase Lucas is that nobody's speed turns as good as Chase Lucas as far as getting out of breaks at the top of
Great
his stem.
point. Yeah, he gets out of
stems. I love what Chase Lucas brings to the team. And then on top of it, I just love what I love about him is just his bedside manner, how he actually approaches the game. I tweeted earlier on is that Chase Lucas was playing with house money. We're looking at a preseason game, week 1, essentially, right? Week 001, really. And you got a guy where anybody that's sticking out or popping off the film, you pretty much have made your day, right? You make a couple of tackles, make a couple of splash plays. You know, your day is done. Everybody knows that you're pretty much a guy. And really, guys are playing so close to the vest as far as not getting hurt, being able to keep reps going while they're going back to practice. You know, they still got to make a team after playing this game. You would think that most guys would kind of dwindle away, but Chase Lucas kept getting stronger as the game progressed. That's something where you got to say he's not going anywhere as far as making this team. I think that Chase Lucas honestly made the team in one game. All he has to do is just truthfully not screw it up. A couple of guys
just
that actually
maintain what he's established, and just say, okay, I'm going to be a playmaker. And that's what every defense wants, a playmaker. And he proved day one, I can do that. You want me to blitz? I'm going to make the quarterback throw it away or something worse for them. I'm going to be on this receiver and stick with him. And you've got a player that's been through the league, that's now motivated, has the knowledge in the body at this point where everything's come together for him. And now he's ready to just take it on the field and go. And that's something that Saleh has to love, because that's not necessarily something you would expect. And then he brings it and says, okay, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm going to contribute day one. Boom. And that's a great thing. And they also got that from Valdez, who played a great game.
There you go.
There are guys where you just say, okay, Clea Davis had a good game. And you just don't necessarily expect that. So I think there were a lot of players who stepped up, who said, okay, who's going to rise up to this challenge and be somebody that this team can rely on as a depth piece, where if we put them on the field, we know that we're going to get good play out of them. And those guys prove that you can count on me. I can get this done.
All hands on deck is kind of what I'm seeing right now as far as the defense is concerned. A couple of other guys that we just want to love on for a little bit. Tatum Bethune.
Oh, yeah. Great game from him.
6 total tackles, 5 solo tackles. I mean, talk about a boy turning into a man. Tatum Bethune not only worked on himself because physically he looks impressive. He definitely
he's more jacked this year. Yeah,
He
no
definitely took the
question.
offseason seriously. But what I'd like to just talk about with Tatum Bethune is that he's playing with a confidence of see ball, get ball. I mean, slow too fast through. He's playing with blurred vision. And one thing that I like about how he's really maneuvering through his triangle reads is that he is not scared of offensive linemen. He had a really tough time dealing with faster, more athletic, big guys in his face. At
Yeah.
Florida State, they allowed him to go downhill a lot. Here in the wide nine, you definitely have to maybe assess a little bit. You have to read before you go. And he struggled a little bit last year. And definitely I do believe that there was a gap physically with game speed and him just coming back stronger. But look, he looks the part. He definitely worked on his body. One thing I'll tell you is that he was very good in the run game, didn't look bad in the pass game, moved fluidly. I think Tatum Bethune is somebody where I don't know. He's good. He's Fred's backup. It's good to know that we've got a stronger back. We've raised the floor at that position. But
And needed to.
yeah, is there a way we get him on the field without being outside of backup duties? I really am impressed with Tatum Bethune, somebody who also they gave a little bit of a bump, but I gotta be Darrell Luter Jr. We saw those two big pass defenses earlier in the first half by Darrell. He still isn't there yet. I gotta be honest. I don't see it. But you gotta love on him. One thing about him is that they clearly see a plan for him. You can tell that they believe in him. He's getting a lot of shots. So go ahead, Tom.
Well, because he's getting a lot of shots, it shows that they want to evaluate him and see, okay, can he fit? And there are
Mhm.
times when he can and times when he can't. And that's what happens with young players. But Luter has to take the next step in his evolution that
Mhm.
you need to become in order. If you want to take the field, you have to be more consistent. And I think that's
Right.
the challenge before him. With Bethune, I love that his strength coming in as a rookie last year was his diagnostics. And now he said, okay, how do I build on that strength to make it more of one? And I think he's
Mhm.
done that. He's upped his body and he's gotten better in his development in reading and diagnostics to become faster on the field mentally, which overcomes the physical limitations he's got. And
Mhm.
that's a smart player that knows what he has and how to use it. And as they say, and as Cully said in the chat, really impressed by Siegel. Same thing is that he's got
That
an
was my next
excellent
guy.
sense of his sense of the field and where to be. The guy's always around the ball. Love that.
Marquis Siegel was the third highest rated tackler on on defense coming in. Now we're talking about little old Marquis Siegel, who when we drafted this kid, everybody was talking about the 5'11", 190-pound frame about this kid, if he was going to be big enough to be able to translate on into the next level. I think we got a little bit more than a guy that translate. I think we got a starter.
Yeah,
Marquis
he's going
Siegel
to have to start.
should be starting right now. Now, look, does that mean that he's a starting caliber safety in the NFL? That remains to be seen. I
He
don't
could
want
get
to
there though.
right. I don't want to step on the flowers before they bloom. So I'm not going to sit here and say,
Yeah.
hey, he's not a guy and we haven't even seen him play yet. However, what we have seen, the traits, the speed, the game speed. There's things that's really special about DBs where you can see a DB that's fast, but he doesn't play the game speed. So it's saying like, all right, yeah, you run a 4.3, but you still get burned. You don't know how to use your accelerator, right?
Yeah.
You burn out too fast, right? But then there's certain guys where they do a little bit more than playing the game speed. They know how to turn it on in the right moments. And one thing about Marquis Siegel is that he's got remarkable acceleration with a heart to boot. I mean, with that boy, this boy does not care. I'm telling you, when you saw him come down in the alley in the hole and close in on a ball carrier by himself, that's a guy that's saying that I want to make a team, but I also want to play. I really like Marquis Siegel. Now, we already know about these guys. We've been watching football all our lives. Marquis Siegel is one of these guys where he's got a big heart. He can fly all over the place, but sometimes his body his game is bigger than his body, right? And he's always in the ice bucket. He's always in the tub. If he could just find a way if he could find a way to keep his production, but kind of tweak his brand of football to protecting himself. To be honest, there's another guy who I'm talking to right now, this conversation, that's Malik Mustafa. If we could just find a way for you to learn how to protect yourself, but still be physical in the game, I think the sky is the limit. Marquise Siegel, I don't know about his ball skills yet, but as far as the things that I would say like would be, vulnerabilities, weak links as far as like, he doesn't have the big body. He's not physically imposing in the run game. He's not going to come down in the box. For him to come up in spades in those areas was very promising.
Absolutely. And he'll need to add body armor over over his career so that he can stay in the game. On your point on Mustafa, I think that given his injuries, he'll be more open to the idea of Saleh telling him, if you make this slight tweak, you're not going to have as many injury concerns. I need you on the field. You need to value that. I think
Right.
Mustafa would be more open to that message now. In
Mhm.
terms of Siegel, one of the interesting elements of this is that the Niners drafted players who had speed but also had power, and they
Mm.
were very good at the combine in their reps. And that's the case with both Stout and Siegel, is that they have some power in addition to the speed, and they play like it. But the
Mhm.
concern, as you point out, is okay, you can do that. You can make yourself a wrecking ball. You can throw yourself at a player to make the tackle. But what's that going to do in terms of your stability and staying in the game?
Mhm.
It's a dangerous way to play. It can take you out. And if there's one thing the Niners are going to need from their safeties this year, it's guys that can stay on the field. So
Mm.
that's my worry with Siegel is, can you play this way in the NFL throughout the season? I'm not
Well,
sure he can. So I think that they're going to need to talk to him about, you make a slight tweak and you'll have the same impact, but you'll be playing a lot safer and smarter.
Well, that's definitely going to be one of our next topics that we're going to talk about, specifically how we're going to prepare, perform, and basically mitigate any issues as a secondary going through this year. We're going to cover that. I'm just
Yeah.
touching on. We kind of went on defense. Let's kind of get to some other things that stuck out to you for the first preseason game against the Denver Broncos.
First thing I want to take away from his camp, that we're seeing good performances from Purdy and Jones. So
Okay.
they've got some stability at quarterback. That should help them.
Mhm.
I like what we saw from Watkins initially with that 50-yard catch and run. Was a nice play.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, now he's gone for a month, but here we are. So offensively, I think that there's plenty of issues, but we also haven't seen the core out there. And so we're evaluating basically a second unit, and there are issues. And all of these injuries are adding up. It's not just that, the core guys are healthy. It's the volume of injuries that's a concern for me.
Yeah. One thing that I like to point out, stats don't mean everything, but they mean something. So we could talk about total yards, turnovers, first downs, all of that stuff. I mean, if you really want to go by the numbers, we completely got drubbed. But one thing that you do work on as far as preseason is concerned is coaches. They get to work out. They get to work out their process during preseason games. Also, it's a really good way to set the groundwork of your identity. Think about my high school football team, right? That's a program within of itself. Some high school football teams are pretty big. They've got a freshman team, they got a JV team, and they got a varsity team, right? And when you have a team or a program, if you will, that's really strong, there's certain things that you permeate throughout all of the teams to make sure that by the time you get those juniors and seniors on varsity, they've been doing this for 2 years. They've been bred into this. There's a modus operandi that a lot of teams go after during preseason in order to push that edict. And what I mean by that is time of possession is something that we as a run-first football team have always hung our hat on. I mean, we've always been top 5 within the first 9 years within the 9 years that we've had Kyle here as with this regime. one thing that just kind of concerned me going into this preseason game is the time of possession was disgusting. It was 36 minutes and 58 seconds to 23 minutes and 2 seconds. That will not do. I don't know what we were doing on offense as far as play calling. I understand that Kyle was not calling plays, but one thing about it is that, oddly enough, I love one of the guys who ran the ball, who ran the ball on Saturday. But what do you think about us being able to hold on to the ball and actually matriculate the ball down the field?
I think the issue was the quarterback play was horrendous. It's just, if your quarterback is Tanner Mordecai and Carter Bradley, you're not going to move the ball. You're not going to succeed on downs and move down the field because they're that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what contributed in part to the disparity in time of possession, is that the quarterbacks were so bad that they couldn't convert on third. And the team was just struggling every single play because these guys aren't NFL players. So you have to factor that in. Also, I think that the defense, in terms of the people that they were evaluating, there were some holes in the secondary. There were some players who they're just taking a look at guys who aren't necessarily going to be able to make the play, or someone like Nick Martin, where he's basically a ball of clay right now. He doesn't have the diagnostics, and so he'll outrun a play, he'll olay a guy. You'll see stuff like that just as the growing pains of a young defense. So I think all of those elements combined led to the time of possession being as bad as it was.
Yeah, definitely not a clean game. Offensively, one thing I will say is that we just didn't look polished. There was nothing that we went to as far as like bread and butter plays. Inside and outside zone seemed like to be something that was a little bit clunky, especially outside zone. Tackle play was spotty at best. Dude,
at best.
I am.
That was brutal.
Listen, we here for a long time, not a good time. So I'm pacing myself. But Tom, if I was calling that game, watching the offensive line play, I might have had an aneurysm, dude. I'm gonna tell you right now.
We would have had a lot of gun sound effects. Let's just put it that way.
Spencer Burford was reeling. This isn't even like something that I would like feel good about talking about in like a joking matter. Like I feel bad for him. I feel bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I legit am concerned for his mental health because that was not a good game at all. Yeah. Like
what it proved is that he's grown accustomed to playing inside and he can't play on an island.
And we're going to get to that.
So move him back.
Yeah. One last takeaway that I had from watching the game overall is that, man, we got some special teams, boy.
Yeah.
You know
that was sweet.
Got a little bit of a return guy, got a little bit of juice. Looking at Brent Boyer on the sideline with the jugular out. You know what I'm saying?
The popping vein, yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a little bit of juice on special teams, man. Obviously, I love the return by Berger. What is it? Bergen? Jordan
Junior Bergen.
Junior Bergen. Yeah.
That was a sweet move where he froze the guy and then ran around him.
Definitely.
That's a great punt returner. You have to create space, create an opportunity, and he did. And then a 27-yard return, he looked like he had some nice jets. That's a great return play. That's somebody that knows what they're doing.
100%, man. I mean, he is one guy that, I mean, let's just say it. I mean, he's a receiver, but he is a specialist, right? He's
only a returner. He didn't have much of anything in receiving at Montana. He was an afterthought there. He's here to return, period.
I mean, that's awesome. You know what I'm saying?
But he's good at it. So
yeah. I definitely
want the team as a result. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, another guy that I wanted to get into on offense that I think, listen, offensively, I still don't get the Luke Farrell experiment. Especially with him. Did you see him give up
So
the block
late
on
on
the
that
edge?
pass pro where he's coming across.
I'm
Dude,
like,
you're
I
running
thought
in
this is.
molasses. What are you doing? You can't be that slow.
I thought this is what you do. Like,
He looked like he was running in slow motion, like it was a cartoon. It's just, dude.
it's laughable, man. Like
Oh,
what this,
I am getting to the defender.
bro?
No.
It was
It's
unreal.
just,
The
come
whole Luke
on.
Farrell experiment. Again, one game, preseason, not a big deal, but
Yeah, but
the game. It's not everything, but it's something. You know.
yeah.
So yeah, exactly. Chris, Mr.
And Chris says it may
49er.
have been bad timing. That could be it, but
That's
you
fair.
also had the proof of once he was in motion, yeah, 0 to 60 and next Tuesday ain't gonna cut it.
I don't know, man. So look, those are the things that take away defense. Offense was a little disjointed. Special teams was definitely something that was a welcome change that we hadn't seen in many years. I mean, forget the last guy who was the special teams coordinator. What's that guy's name that left?
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I forget, and we
Sam
should
Sausage
forget him.
Head.
He
Yeah,
earned
that guy's
us
gone.
forgetting him.
Yeah,
Thank God
anyway,
he's gone. And that's
yeah.
going to make a huge difference, especially in field position.
Definitely. I will tell you, I was impressed with there was a lot to be impressed with. So moving into our next topic, now that we've watched the Niners one good time, and this is a little unfair, but you've seen them once. And when you see them for the first time, you tend to forget about all of the the sobering reactions of what you saw. Like I remember seeing Debo in week 1 and against the Jets, and he caught that comeback where he shook the defender and had an open 40 yards to the end zone, and it took him 10 years to get there. And he was running in mud, and I could not believe it. I said, dude, he's out of shape. He's done. Now, did Debo have great games and more productive games down the stretch? Of course he did.
Sure.
But I never forgot that experience. I never forgot that. So
that's where you draw a line in the sand and say, okay, he's done.
Yeah,
that play. That play is where you draw the line in the sand on me.
Dude, as a sidebar, you do know we all will be watching the Commanders to see.
Of course.
Come on, bro. Every
curiosity
game,
is going to kill us.
We will be watching.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be there. So
you're going to go to the game? Cool.
No. I'm not going to the game. I'm just saying I'll be there watching. I'm not spending 1 red cent on them bums. So look,
as you should.
Done. So
if
if you've ever been to FedEx Field, dude, it's a death trap. It's a death trap.
It's a flea market with seats.
Bro, it's the gulag. It's ridiculous, bro.
It's one of the worst stadiums in the league.
It's horrible.
And they know it. That's why they're trying to move to the RFK.
100%. But anyway, to get back on track, I just want to have a little bit of some suspended time with you right now. Have your expectations changed based off of what you predicted the team to do for the season, based off of what you have seen from them thus far?
Yeah, they have, in that it was eye-opening to see how poor the depth is. One of my big takeaways from the game was this team is 40 deep, and the other 13 guys should never take the field. So that's guys like Carter Bradley, Nick Sakal, Jair. If they're on the field, the team is going to suffer for it.
Yeah.
And this is the thinnest team they've had in years. Guys that never would have even been considered for the practice squad are going to make the team.
Let's talk about it.
That's part of it. The other factor that I think that's going to have is that because that talent is so poor, there are guys that are going to make the cut at 53, but then still be cut and replaced by guys they sign off of other teams that were cut. I think that as many as 10 players could be signed that way because they have to. That's how bad the depth is at the end of the roster.
Yeah. I tend to agree with you. You know, for the season, you know, I look at preseason games as indicators, indicators and metrics for what the team is at the current moment, right? Not if they're going to be a winner, if they're going to be a loser, but just I wonder what this team can do. I wonder if this team has process. Like, what is this team? And you know, based off of a preseason game, you if the starters aren't playing, obviously you can't, you know, judge the team off of, you know, its top shelf talent, right? You can't do that because you know the guys haven't played. But what you can do is you can look at what they have, and losing a preseason game is cool. That's one thing, but getting blown out 30-9, where you literally don't have anybody else to put on the field, and this team is just playing you into the ground, where the line of scrimmage was shifting left and right on offense and defense. There was nobody that could stop the run. All right. There was guys on this team that we don't even look. Let me chill. There are guys on this team that look like they are not NFL players. Okay.
Yeah, that's my concern, is that there's too many of those.
Yeah. I mean, and if you think about it, there's things where I don't care how many stories or backstories you wrap around guys. You know, a Robbie Chosen is still Robbie Chosen. I'm sorry. He still is. That's just what he is.
What he is.
He is what he is. Okay?
There's nothing more there.
Come on.
He's a journeyman.
Isaiah Hodgins. Come on, man. We got to stop this. All right? Nick Sakel. That's not a guy. All right? No. Right now, the top half of their running back room can't even stay healthy. Spencer Burford, God love you, but not at tackle, man. We can't do that. We just can't. No. We can't.
Well, and he's a fish out of water playing at tackle after he's played all these years at guard. It's just you're going against his instincts. Yeah, he played tackle at UTSA, but how long ago was that?
Yeah.
You've been accustomed to doing one thing, and now you're said, okay, now we're going to move you outside and do something completely different. He wasn't prepared for it. He wasn't ready for it. Maybe he can be over the course of the season where he can relearn how to play tackle, but do you want to do that while he's on the field? No. So right. I would much rather say we tried Spencer outside, didn't work, move him back inside because we're going to need the depth at guard.
The only thing that really saves us right now at tackle, we might as well just go ahead and switch into it. Let's just go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So let's get into our next topic. Early season scapegoat, O-line. Let's build the topic first. All right, guys, you know the skivvy. If you've watched 4th and Mile, you already know how I touched on the offensive line and how this happens year in and year out. But for some reason, we keep on trucking. And this is the deal. All right, I'm over it. I'm tired of being tired, okay? We're not going to get the all-star 5 silverback gorilla offensive line. We just ain't getting it, okay?
Not with Kyle.
We got McDonald's at home. We ain't going. It is what it is.
Right.
And they've beaten me into submission. 9 years of begging for this shit, and I'm over it. What they do with the offensive line is they get in where they fit in. They've tried to get draft guys. It didn't work out. Nothing stuck. The Aaron Banks I got to be honest. I would be discouraged about drafting guys high after the Aaron Banks story. I mean, Jesus Christ. He barely gave us a full season, then put in one year and then shit the bed the last year and then got paid $19 million per. Like, come on.
Right. Well, but that's the nature of offensive line right now, is the supply and demand is so far out of balance.
The position is so bad
that a player can just coast. I mean, that's what Banks did basically. He had one good year and then he drifted. He coasted the rest of the way until he waited for free agency and got paid.
Well, all of that is true. But I got some numbers for you. I got some stats. Last year, the offensive line within the first 6 weeks of the season was ranked within the top 10 in the NFL. Okay?
Which a lot of us have difficulty wrapping our heads around that.
But it's the truth.
But it's true, though. The numbers are what they are.
Last year, the 49ers offensive line finished 14th. All right? in the NFL. The facts is that in the beginning of the season last year, when Brock Purdy was getting sacked left and right, I think he got sacked like 5 times against Minnesota. That was like disgusting. Okay.
Yeah, well, quality
Right?
line and a great defensive coordinator. They knew what they were doing.
Knew what they were doing. All right. Also, we weren't moving the ball. All right. And we're losing games. And the offensive line seemed to be like the scapegoat. Everybody wanted to blame the offensive line. Colton McKivitz, you know what I'm saying? Jake Brindle. The only body that's doing anything is Dominic Pooney. Where's Trent Williams? The whole 9. But the facts is that the receivers were not getting open. They could not get open. All right. Yeah. Also, if you want to put another feather in your cap, before Christian McCaffrey came back into the season off of injury, Jordan Mason was leading the league in rushing yards per average yards per rush with like 6.1 yards per carry before Christian came back. All right.
They were imposing their will because they had a runner that was a sledgehammer that fit that style. So it shows that they've got the capability to do that if they have the runner that can do that.
Dude, it was frustrating as hell.
Yeah.
But it was easy. Nobody wanted to say Brock Purdy was not throwing the checkdowns. Nobody wanted to say that. That just wasn't the cool thing to say, right? Nobody wanted to talk about how Brock Purdy was forcing the ball down the field and ignoring short to intermediate routes. Nobody wanted to bring that up when he started pressing, all right, running into sacks, all right? Nobody wanted to talk about that. As soon as Christian McCaffrey comes back, we were begging for a running back by committee scenario. Hand fit the glove. It was perfect.
Yeah, they had all the pieces in place and the proof that it worked.
Yes. I'm going to tell you, perfect. And what did we do? We poured water on it. Ran Christian into the ground. I know everybody wants to argue it wasn't the injury that because he ran. It was a freak injury. Dude, whatever.
Stop.
Whatever, dog. I know ball, bro. I know ball. You just don't shut a guy down. You don't shut a guy down. And then you bring back Jordan Mason, and what does he do? He gets hurt. Right? So,
yeah, predictable.
I just want to keep that story in the frontal lobe of your mind because it's going to happen again. The receiving core is banged up, right? The receiving core is banged up. We're going to be looking. Brock Purdy just got a shiny new contract. He's going to be looking to press, okay, and look impressive. And then everybody's going to be looking at the offensive line, especially with what I think could possibly be an advantage for the offensive line. Connor Colby.
Maybe so.
Has been elevated to left guard, Tom.
Well, he has to because Ben Barch can't stay healthy for a week.
Ben Barch can't climb out of bed without catching an injury. We understand that.
So however, given the importance of having continuity on an offensive line, are they better off just saying that Ben Barch is never going to stay healthy, therefore we just play Colby? I hope they come to that decision. I doubt they will. I think what will happen is they'll play Barch, he'll get hurt, and then it's a question of how hurt is he, and Colby steps in.
The biggest thing that frustrated me about what's his face from he's with the Packers now, Aaron Banks. What frustrated me about Aaron Banks is that he was a small man in a big man's body. Okay? He didn't use his body like a big man. Like, you could tell that he was weight room strong, but he wasn't like core strong. You know, when you're a big dude, Tom, you know how you could just walk into the corner of a wall and just lop off a piece and not care? Just keep walking, right?
Yeah.
Somebody scratch me? It is what it is. I move big. It just is what it is. He's not when you're an offensive lineman, you want to be a little bit of a bull in the china cabinet. You want to have rough edges, right? Yeah. And Aaron Banks did not have rough edges.
He lacked that aggression, and he lacked that body identity that you're calling for. Is that if you're that big, use it, and if you're not, and if you're playing a smaller game in a bigger body, you're hurting your team.
He was
So
playing
what they're going to need to
rugby with
find with
pads
Colby
on.
is, can he do that? We'll find out.
Listen, over 50 starts, okay? This kid's got I'm telling you, he's got good mileage on him. He's like an old diesel Cummins, all right? He gets good with the workload. You got to work him. I'm going to tell you, 6'6", 310. I saw a little bit of film on him. He is strong with his hands. He's got good leverage, plays with very decent pad height, pad level for his size. I'm going to tell you, I'd love to see what Connor Colby can do at left guard. Another thing, I mentioned this in previous segments today, but I like his emergence onto the offensive line. I like the fact that he took Nick Zakel's job. I like that.
Earn it.
I like that. I like the fact that we had a guy here for multiple years, okay, that we gave chance after chance after chance to find his way on a position that really is wide open, right? Nick Zakel could be like a really good linebacker playing behind Fred Warner, and it's just like, bro, you're never going to play. I'm sorry. You play in front of Fred Warner, right?
Right.
Nick Zakel can't find the field on an offensive line with holes all over it.
Well, and the bigger, more important point is when he is finding the field, he sucks. And he has for years. He's one of the sacred cows. And I don't know if it's because he's Brock's roommate once upon a time or whatever it is. They need to let go of that. He can't play. He's proven it for 3 straight years. He's proven he can't play. Cut him now.
Dude, you can't tell me that Nick Zakel is getting an NFL check because he's Brock Purdy's pace horse. You can't tell me that he's the little mule in the stable standing next to Brock Purdy in his stall. Come on. You can't tell me that. No. And if that's the reason, then that's wild. I'll tell you that. He went to Fordham. Yeah. That's a great school.
That's a smart kid that went to Fordham.
I'm sure he did a job anywhere.
But yeah, it's time to put your degree to use.
Come on, man. The transition plan is not that bad, Nick.
Right.
But to get on Connor Colby, the reason why I like this kid is because if you can oust kind of like a guy with social currency, right? Now we're kind of getting into the physics of football, all right? Was just all right. Ain't no X's and O's to this shit. You just gotta feel it. But you know what it's like to have a guy that's heavily liked in the building, right? And I hate to say it, but sometimes coaches find little nooks for players to hide, right? Like, you can be the backup third. You could be the third water carrier. There you go. You can carry the water bottles. I think that in order for a guy like Connor Colby to move a guy like Nick Zakel out, it shows one thing that I really wish was on this team for years, which is true meritocracy. Like, yo, you're not good. You're off the field. I'm sorry. I don't care if the coach likes you. We're in a position, and that's what I love. Like this season is almost kind of like a perfect storm in a sense that it challenges and pushes all of the buttons that we need as a team, right? Like this year, you can't play names. Ain't but so many names around. Right?
No. Yeah.
You can't do favoritism this year.
No way. What you have to do is this whole season is about proving. Because the opportunity is clearly there. If the team is only 40 deep, there's 13 spots that are wide open. 6-lane freeway open. And so can Zakel do that? And give Colby credit that even with the favoritism that Zakel has received to date, Colby won that job and he's at left guard. That says a lot about Colby.
Yeah, I love it. Offensive line, especially speaking about offensive line as well, I think that they're going to be fine. You know, they're going to be okay. I brought this up earlier today. There's something about guys just working together for a certain amount of time. And that's, you really don't get that. Even with defensive line, you may get a tackle and an edge that play together. They play games together, and they kind of know how each other's moves. But there's so much there's so many different packages on the defensive line that you can like playing next to another guy, but the game calls for what the game calls for, right? But offensive line is unique in the fact that you play primarily next to the same guy side by side the entire game. And what happens is that you grow together. You create syntax between one another. You know how to do your combo blocks become more in sync, right? You being able to scoop block becomes more in sync. I know how to choke down on your gap when you leave to go pull even more. I understand. I don't step on your feet anymore. And the only reason why I bring that up is that Dominic Pooney and Colton McKivitz were a sight to be seen in spurts last season.
Yeah.
They worked so well together. I remember earlier on in the season, comments were like, oh my God, we can run right. Like we're balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, but we don't have to just run behind Trent, or the left side of the field. That's not a thing this year. I felt like at times Dominic's speed and just sheer, like his strength to power, right? His speed to power, where Dominic not only can move fast out of a 6-inch step or get out of his inside or get out of an inside zone step, but Dominic can combo up to the second level as fast as if he was just running on air, but he's got bodies in front of him and he actually has the power to generate movement. That's something that's very hard to get used to if you're a Colton McKivitz, right?
Yeah, because he hasn't had that beside him until now.
He hasn't had it.
But once he has, now they can work together to deal with whatever comes at them. Is that Pooney makes McKivitz a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And McKivitz can help Pooney develop also in the way that they can just work as a tandem together. It helps the growth of both of them. So, there's no question that Pooney has elevated McKivitz's game and that both of them have taken the right side of the line to a new place. My concern is, okay, this is our final year with Colton McKivitz. He'll leave. He'll get more money. And so after you're building that cohesion, you're going to have to start over again. But at least Pooney has gone through this process now where he can tell next year's first-round pick, here's what we need to do.
Do you think we'll pay up for Colton?
No.
I think that he's going to get paid. Colton McKivitz is
by somebody else.
He's improving.
He is, but I think that the pattern that we've seen is that these offensive linemen get paid so much money that the Niners say that's outside of our salary cap plans. We don't have that budgeted at right tackle. Maybe they make an exception and say that given how well Pooney and McKivitz play together, that's a possibility. But I think that we also have to factor in that, to me anyway, I think that Kyle is finally going to be forced to take a tackle in the first round next year. And I think that's part of what they're planning to do. So that Isaiah World from Oregon, the tackles from Utah, those are the guys I'm going to be watching in college ball this year. I think one of those is going to be a Niner tackle.
Tom, you're always giving us the early gems, man. We don't deserve your insight sometimes, bro.
Oh, no, thanks, man. I just pay attention.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now. We're on Trent Watch. Everything that we've talked about as far as the offensive line is concerned, Spencer Burford switching back to right guard as a backup, possibly being saved at swing tackle by Andre Dillard. I really hope that works out for us. That's really kind of like the ace in the hole. Is if nothing else happens with the offensive line, Andre Dillard has to be our swing tackle.
But he has to stay healthy to do it. That's the concern.
Yeah. That remains to be seen. But I'm not really big on Austin Pleasance. I know Larry loves him.
He didn't show anything. I wasn't impressed by him.
Hasn't done anything. Isaiah Prince is just a guy. Same with Isaiah Alicorn. And we already talked about Nick Zakelj. One thing I will say, Drew Moss actually showed a lot of promise in the game. Yeah. So
in one-on-ones, he got destroyed in camp. So you have to balance out everything that's happening with him.
Yeah, Terradome just brought him up. Drew Moss is somebody who actually impressed. One thing I love is his tenacity. Plays with
Yeah,
very
he's
strong
aggressive.
hands. He's got a
Yeah.
really good punch. He's a good finisher as well too. Saw him pancake up a couple of guys. Not scared of the moment at all. I'd love to see what Drew Moss can do for us in a pinch, especially at guard. I got a feeling that, if Connor Colby can't get it done, we may stick Drew Moss over there and see what he can do for us. And at the very least, we need to see exactly how we're going to be able to get a backup center going.
It's probably going to be Hennessy, though they're giving Zakel reps there, so that tells you of just the level of desperation. But I would
Yeah,
expect that Hennessy's going to get the backup center job.
yeah. So Matt
But they can
Hennessy
also
will be
sign
backup
guys. I mean,
center.
it's who gets cut at the final 53 around the league. I think that there's going to be at least one signing in the offensive line, sort of a junk pile signing, as I call it, where it's some guy got cut, didn't quite make the team. They're going to have to identify a lot of guys, and I think that's one of the places they're going to need to shop is O-line.
100%. O-line's not going to go away. The O-line issue is just going to get it's going to exacerbate itself as the season progresses. And I think the crescendo of it all is going to be the offseason once all of these guys leave. We're going to be stuck again, looking at the Pope smoke with Trent Williams to see exactly what he wants to do. Colton McKivitz is going to be courted by everybody with bags of money for the offseason. Jake Brindle is going to be a shell of himself. Dominic Pooney is going to be a starter, but we're going to have nothing but a turnstile of Jags at left guard. That's the reality of what we're staring down.
It is what it is. As you pointed out in your 4 miles today, you can't continually look at it and just say that the what ifs of, well, if Kyle would ever value the offensive line. That's not dealing in reality. He's not. He won't.
Mhm.
And so what's your team? Evaluate what you have on the field, not, gee, it would have been nice if, and then insert draft pick here. Yeah. They are what they are coming in, and we're going to have to look at it and say, can they get the job done? And the issue is going to be health. Trent is going to have to stay healthy unless Dillard can step up and prove that he can take over as a swing tackle at left tackle and they don't lose a ton, then maybe they can deal with it. But that's going to be on Dillard. So we'll see. But we can't deal in the hypothetical here. We're doing that too often of if they had just done X. They haven't. Kyle won't. He's not going to change on that. But hopefully, because the need is so dire, that they're finally going to draft an offensive lineman and a left tackle in the draft in the first round next year.
Hey, well, we've already talked about it. We got to see exactly how they're going to come together. I'm excited to see the starting unit play. I really do believe Connor Colby at left guard is Ben Barch is, your best ability is availability. So, look, I wish Ben Barch the best, but we got to look at somebody that's actually going to be consistent. So I'm wishing the best for the rookie.
Me too, but I think that what they're going to do is just whenever Barch can play, he will. And then if he goes down, then Colby steps in. I just hope that in the event that Barch gets hurt and he's out for like 3 weeks, and then the offensive line comes together with Colby at left guard, keep him intact even if Barch then gets healthy and can return. Make him the backup and keep the continuity you've built over those few weeks while Barch was out.
Yeah. It's all hands on decks in every facet of the word. So let's move into speaking of woeful units, ball hawks with broken wings, man. Let's talk about it. Let's make some sense of this secondary issue moving into the 2025-26 season. So as it stands right now, if you look at the Niners' potential lineup for secondary, you'd have Diamador Lenore starting at corner. All right. For outside corner, you would essentially have Renardo Green and then Upton Stout at nickel. We're going to go with Jason Pinnock at free and then Jair Brown at strong safety. Now, we already know that is not the reality. All right.
I don't think it will be the starting unit in Seattle. I think that they would start Siegel. Jair, when he was plugged in after Pinnock went down, that they plugged in Jair and he didn't play well. To me, the thing with Jair is that his development was centered around Steve Wilkes because Wilkes was a genius at DB. Wilkes built Jair up to the point where he was a legitimate player and made a great contribution to the Super Bowl. Once Wilkes was gone, Jair fell off a cliff, straight down. And he's done now. Without Wilkes, he's not an NFL player. And so they need to move on from him.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think that Jair Brown I believe that he already came in with a couple of things against him. The ranginess, not necessarily a bigger body. Top end speed was a big thing. Not being quick as well. But what he lacked in all of those attributes, he had in spades and physicality, knack for the ball, being able to have good angles, play with pursuit. He's a leader. And look, I get all that. But one we just can't do is we can't be a liability on the back end. I mean, safeties by their job description are supposed to be the last line of defense of the defense. All right. And you don't do that with trying to make splash plays. Now, I get it. Everybody hasn't done that here. That's gotten a little bit of notoriety, a la Talanoa Hufanga, right? When Huff first got here, he was a bat out of hell. Used to always come down into the box, was a nosy guy. But late in that rookie season, earned enough to start realizing that you can't play around and make a name for yourself being somebody that doesn't pay attention and gets a little nosy in the backfield. Jair Brown has just that issue. I think that he has remarkably horrible ankles. And I don't know if it's because he believes that he's, I don't know, bigger than the game. And not to say, not from an arrogance prospect, but what I'm saying is that sometimes you kind of load up on guys. You tend to think that I can handle this guy if I do it my way, if I take my time. Jair Brown, he's not fast enough to play with the type of like tempo that he plays with. He kind of plays with like he plays like a half step off. And I think he does that because he doesn't want to get burned. So he tries to keep people in front of him for his lack of athleticism, and it bites him.
Often.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, is that you have to play within your limits. You have to do that in all sports. But I don't think that Jair does, and that gets him in trouble. Or he'll compensate for it and say, I'm not going to go there because I know I can't execute it physically. So I'm going to keep the guys in front of me. But then that concedes too much ground on the field. So given that we've now seen what Jair is without Steve Wilkes, he needs to be cut, period.
You think he needs to be cut, period?
Yeah. He's
Man,
not
cold-blooded, Tom.
On this stuff, yeah. It's just, can he play in the NFL? No. Not as he is now.
I have to say this. You know, Steve-O, glad to have you back, brother. But Tom, it is,
Steve-O.
man. Tom, it's pretty impressive right now, Tom. It's really nice. You're giving us a little bit of Tom Brokaw. It's really nice. It's really nice.
Thanks,
you know what I'm saying? I just have to.
Yeah.
Steve-O, hey, when Steve-O hits, he hits. You know.
Okay.
So,
yeah. Give him his due.
Yeah, you look good.
Thanks,
Tom.
but so do you. The skin game is working as always.
You know what I'm saying? Thank you. You know what I'm saying? You look, Tom trying to get, you know what I'm saying? But hey, look, what I'm saying is that I really think that the secondary, they got to run with what they brung. I think that starting Ronaldo Green is a fool's errand. I don't think he's going to be ready by week 1.
He might not be, and they're going to have to say, okay, Chase Lucas, step up.
But Chase Lucas doesn't play outside, though, Tom. That's the question.
Yeah. So I think that what they're going to have
Jr.
to do is might be Luter, might be Stout. And then the problem is that Stout's small too. And so how do you deal? I don't know.
You think they're going to make Stout play
given
outside?
That they played Diamador outside and he made do because he was that skilled. They might do that with Stout too. It depends on what they think of their options. But it could be that they say, all right, let's see what Luter can do, but I wouldn't be confident in that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, I'm very nervous. Right now, I think that Marquise Siegel is obviously our starting, should be starting right now. Do you think, the fact that you think that Jair Brown should be gone, do you Wait, Tom, hold on, wait a minute. Now let's get it. I just realized you said some stuff. All right, so Tom, if you want Jair Brown gone, right? Who's your safety tandem?
I sign Justin Simmons and say, would you please wake up? By the way, there's a 4-time second team All-Pro out there. Sign him. Yeah. Will they do it? No.
I teed you
but
up. I was waiting for you to say
I've been
this.
doing this. I've been saying this all summer. Justin Simmons, Justin Simmons, Justin Simmons. Will they do it? No, because it's going to cost too much. They will not do it. So what are they going to have to do? I'm sorry, but it can't be Jair. It's got to be Siegel and whoever. Hopefully, Pinnock will be healthy enough, but we'll see. The main reason I picked Seattle to win the opener is because of safety. That without Mustafa, I didn't like what they had at safety, and I think that they're going to be vulnerable there.
Steve says you're the only player, you're the only person that wants an injured player.
Yep. What do you want?
Just said it with a straight face.
What do you want from me? Yeah, it's just 4-time All-Pro has all the skills. Has every skill you would want. He's available.
The best skill that he has right now is he's instantly the best safety on our roster.
Right. And you only have one safety right now. He's not going to come back until week 8. Maybe.
And another thing too, can we stop basing a 17-game season off of Jason Pinnock, a guy who we really haven't seen do it yet with the big lights, all right? Who's never really done it consistently at a high level. I love the way he plays, but Jason Pinnock is giving me what's that other guy we had at linebacker? Greg Odom? George Odom?
George Odom at safety. Yeah.
George Odom.
He was there because of his special teams play, not because Wade did it.
Yeah. Safety. Like he's giving me George Odom vibes.
He's basically that kind of guy. He's just a guy at safety. We need to pay attention to what happened at camp. Pinnock has been burned on a 40-yard and a 50-yard pass. Now you want to put him on the field with Seattle, where you've got a guy that can throw the ball deep and you got receivers that can go get it. Is Pinnock somebody that you can rely on as the last line of defense at safety? No. That's a huge concern for game 1.
All right. So look, there's 2 topics in here where these are too juicy. We got to go back. Let's talk about it, Tom. So the faithful has seen Nick Martin, not so much. I mean, Nick Martin, we were upset about Nick Martin because we just didn't understand it, but whatever. Nick Martin is a labor of love. It's going to take time. If you expected Nick Martin to come in and immediately be a guy, that would have been surprising to the Niners. I even take it.
Martin was picked because he's a ball of clay. He's just like Winters, where you're projecting what that level of athlete can do, but he's going to need 2 to 3 years of development, just like Winters did, before he can really be a great contributor on the field. I would argue that the longest development arc in the league right now on defense is at linebacker. It takes time.
It does.
And I don't think that Martin is going to be ready for prime time for at least another 2 years. And we saw that. He played with hesitancy. He didn't make good diagnostic decisions. He played with poor angles, and he'd close out of balance, and so he would olay. There's a lot of things he's doing wrong. But you can look at the athlete and say, the athlete, once he can play instinctively, is going to be a force. But that's 2 to 3 years away.
100%. I agree. I'm not even going to put anything else on it. I'll just say that his floor is DFF. Demetrius Flanagan foul. That's his floor. Okay.
Yeah, and he's there now.
And he's there now. So that's something, right? That's what I'll say. Like if Nick Martin came in right now, Demetrius Flanagan Fowles might be losing his job, right? Just for the fact that Nick Martin can do what Demetrius Flanagan Fowles gave us on a consistent basis, on top of the fact that Nick Martin could be a little bit more, give us some more juice on special teams. But the bad is bad, and it's noticeable, right? And it's fixable, but it's very noticeable. But
he's going to require years. You're going to have patience with Martin. And he was picked with that in mind. He wasn't picked as a guy that can step in day one.
I agree with that. But the flashes are things that Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, that caliber of player, could never do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So,
just Flanagan Fowles has a physical ceiling that's below the floor of Nick Martin.
you're banking on the traits.
Yeah.
So simply put, you're banking on the traits.
Sure.
But one thing that I will say is let's get into it because we got a chance to see him. Robert Saleh himself had a conversation about, had an interview about Nick Collins where he brought up a couple of the things that we had highlighted, you and I rather, had highlighted with why we were a little trepidatious about taking on the young defensive tackle.
Trepidatious. Yeah. We were mortified. let's call it what it is.
I'm trying to be cool about it.
You announced what Alfred Collins. You couldn't even say his name. You were so upset.
I was so pissed.
So I'm here waiting. Who'd they pick? And then you finally say Alfred Collins, and I put my head in my hand and said, "Oh God."
Dude.
And we both went off for like 5 minutes of no, and they took him. So,
dude,
let's call it what it is.
You know why it hurts? You know why it hurts?
Because the alternatives that were on the board at the time.
Dog, and we were talking about this everybody that was out there, we were just saying, dude, just get everybody, but just don't get Alfred Collins.
Like, we were both saying that before the draft even began.
Yes, before the draft happened, it was just like, yo, you can do whatever you want at round 2. Just don't draft Alfred Collins in round 2. Don't do that. A lot of what we were concerned about has come to the surface. He's got a good first step, but not really a second move. He gets absorbed by offensive linemen. Doesn't really push past defenders. Necessarily doesn't have a lot of good strain when he's trying to get past defenders. Doesn't work on disengaging. He's really sticky with offensive linemen. I mean, once he gets a guy locked onto him, it's hard for him to disengage. Now, where that helps is in the run game.
Right. And that's why he was drafted. He's a specialist as a run defending boulder. That's who he is, which means you took a 2-down player in the second round. That's part of why we were upset. Yeah, we were doing cartwheels after they took CJ West. Why? Because he's a 2-way player that can play every down.
Yes.
Alfred Collins cannot.
It's night and day watching them rush the passer. It's night and day.
Yeah.
But those are the reasons why we were concerned about Alfred Collins playing, is that we just don't see a lot of pop in the pass game. Now, Robert Saleh said all but everything that we have been talking about. With Alfred Collins, but he's the professional. He's the expert. He's the guy that knows what direction that he wants this team to go in. And I think that he took the lesser of two evils when it came to Alfred Collins. If you got Robert Saleh alone and the coaching staff alone, I bet dollars to donuts that they think that they can coach a pass rush skill set into Alfred Collins, but they'll take what he can do to stop the run right now. I know you are not. You don't care, right? I know you're not bullish on it.
No, I think that's just flat out dreaming. It's just he's never going to be a great pass rusher in the league. That's not who he is. But he was picked specifically because Saleh said, I need a guy in the wide 9 especially that can take on double teams in the run game. And that's exactly what Alfred Collins can do. He can just stand up and hit it. It's just, okay, I'm going to be the brick wall this defense needs on rundowns. That's why he was picked. He's that specialist. But if you're expecting to get anything out of him in the pass game, you're looking for blood from a rock. Ain't going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the truth. Look, he's going to develop in some areas. We still have to see Mykel Williams. I was disappointed that we didn't get a chance to see him play. CJ West, like we said, as advertised. CJ West, my only thing with him is that I just want him to stay healthy. And the speed of the game, that's my big thing too. These guys were, you could see they were sucking wind before the half ended, before the first half ended. You could tell that maybe that first quarter, first couple of drives, was a lot of adrenaline pumping. First time being on the NFL stage, but
Yeah.
I want to see what they're going to do with rotations of guys. It's clear that they're not going to play these guys like 60 snaps a game. That's not
They
going to be a
can't.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Alfred
because
Collins
they're
is gonna
rookies, you can't go that deep on them. You have to give them a fresh rotation to stay healthy and to have the necessary energy.
Mhm.
But it's almost impossible to duplicate a game setting on camp on the field. You can't do it. It's very hard to do.
Mhm.
And so it's just something that he's going to have to adjust to. Is the speed and power of the NFL is always an adjustment.
Right.
But he's capable of doing that. He's shown in his college play that he can do it, and he will.
Hey, well, Tom, we said we had 4 topics to get to. We snuck in 4 and a possible with a sneak topic talking about Alfred Collins and the defensive line.
Yeah.
I was going to go in about the Jawan Jennings situation, a little bit of the thoughts on how we feel about that, but I'm going to table that for now.
Okay.
I feel like we do really good with drama in 49ers land, with the faithful, in the empire, if you will. And I'm going to use some patience. We're going to sit back and see what Jawan is going to do, right? Right now, they're saying he's hurt. I'm choosing to believe they're telling the truth.
Well, given
is
that it's an
working his
injury he
way.
had last year, it fits that he is hurt.
Yeah. I really need him back on the field. We could definitely talk about the receivers, but I feel like that's a boring topic. We just got to see him play. There's certain things right now where we could talk about it too. We're blue in the face. That's why I'm taking the approach that I am with the offensive line of like, oh, they're going to be bad. We don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know. Let's line them up and play ball. Let's find out. Let's find out.
That's always the best way. That's where the truth is told, on the field.
Yeah, 100%. Tom, this was a great one. We're right back at it. What you got for the rest of the week, man?
Writing, more writing, classes and writing.
I like that.
Writing,
more writing.
Novel. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Hey.
So we'll see. But it was great to be back with you, Coach. Love this. Great time.
100%, Tom. We are back at it. I'm going to sit here and get on the phone with Iggy, see if we can strike up another coaches meeting. And also stay tuned for another episode of 4th and Mile because I'm getting great feedback and we're going to keep it going. Hey, this is the coach. This is Tom. Stay low and keep your feet moving. You guys have a great one.